The World Chess Championship 2016 was a chess match between reigning world champion Magnus Carlsen and challenger Sergei Karjakin to determine the world chess champion. Carlsen has been world champion since 2013, while Karjakin qualified as challenger by winning the 2016 Candidates Tournament. The best-of-12 match, organized by FIDE and its commercial partner Agon, was played in New York City, USA, between 11 and 30 November 2016. The match opened with 7 consecutive draws, before Karjakin won the 8th game. Carlsen evened the score by winning the 10th game. All other games were drawn, leaving the match at a 6-6 tie. So tie breaks decided the match. After 2 draws to begin the rapid chess tie break, Carlsen won the remaining 2 games to win the match and retain the title of World Chess Champion. Planning timeline: November 27, 2014, at the closing ceremony for the 2014 championship, FIDE President Ilya Mzhinov announces the 2016 match will take place in the United States. October 4, 2015, at the 2015 Chess World Cup, Ilya Mzhinov reiterates the location as the United States, saying that the date and place were already final. December 15, 2015, FIDE and Agon signed media rights deal with Norwegian broadcaster NRK, listing 7 figures, in unknown currency, until 2020. January 8, 2016, FIDE announces that Agon has made operational an official broadcasting platform, WorldChess.com, for the World Chess Championship cycle events, already present in October 2015. March 4, 2016, Agon announced that only approved broadcasters will be allowed to retransmit moves from the candidates and ensuing World Championship. March 28, 2016, Sergei Karjakin wins the Candidates Tournament 2016 to qualify to play Magnus Carlsen. May 26, 2016, Agon head Ilya Marinzin says that the contract between FIDE and Agon is finalized and is being signed. The contract between the players and FIDE will be finalized in the next 2-3 weeks. Quote, June 7, 2016, Agon announces that a venue has been found in New York City, with only sponsor details and paperwork left to be finalized in the next 2 weeks. August 8, 2016, Agon announced the venue is the Fulton Market Building in the South Street Seaport in Lower Manhattan. August 30, 2016, Agon published on their website that Foss Agro has signed a strategic partnership contract as a sponsor of the 2016 FIDE World Chess Championship. September 12, 2016, Agon announced EG Capital Advisors as a sponsor, and give pricing packages for virtual reality viewing options. Candidates Tournament. The Candidates Tournament to determine the challenger was held on 11-30 March 2016 in Moscow, Russia, with FIDE's commercial partner Agon as the official organizer. The loser of the World Chess Championship 2014 match. The top 2 finishers in the Chess World Cup 2015. The top 2 finishers in the FIDE Grand Prix 2014. 15. Next 2 highest-rated players. Average FIDE rating on the 12 monthly lists from January to December 2015, with at least 30 games played. Who played in Chess World Cup 2015 or FIDE Grand Prix 2014. 15. And 1 player nominated by Agon, the organizers. Results. Players. Head-to-head record. As of August 2016, Carlsen and Karjakin had played each other 21 times, at long time controls, with Carlsen leading 4 wins to 1 with 16 draws. Their most recent encounter was at the July Bilbao double round-robin tournament, where Carlsen won 1 game while the other was drawn. Lead up to match. After his victory in the Candidates Tournament 2016, Karjakin was scheduled to play in the Norway chess event in April with a head-to-head game against Carlsen on tap, but cancelled his appearance, citing fatigue from the candidates' victory. Championship match. Organization and location. The match was being held under the auspices of FIDE, the World Chess Federation, with the organization rights belonging to Agon, its commercial partner. Match regulations. The match regulations have been put forth by FIDE. The players cannot draw game by agreement before Black's 30th move, but they can claim a draw by threefold repetition. For full-time control games, 40 moves in 100 minutes, then 50 extra minutes at move 40, and 15 extra minutes at move 60, with 30 seconds increment per move throughout. The player with the best score after 12 games is world champion. If tied, players will play 4 rapid games. For rapid games, 25 minutes with 10 seconds increment per move. The player with the best score after 4 games is world champion. If tied, players will play up to 5 two-game blitz matches. For blitz games, except the final sudden death game, 5 minutes with 3 seconds increment per move. The player with the best score after any 2-game blitz match is world champion. If tied, players will play 1 sudden death game. For the final sudden death game, 5 minutes for white pieces, 4 minutes for black pieces. No increment for the first 60 moves. 3 seconds increment per move starting at the move 61. The winner of this game is world champion. If drawn, Black is the winner and world champion. Opening press conference. The opening press conference was held on November 10. FIDE President Kirsan Ilyumzhinov was unable to attend following sanctions from the U.S. government over his ties with the Syrian regime, but communicated by Skype instead with Vice President Gelfer, the official FIDE representative, rather than Deputy President Makropoulos. Agon CEO Ilya Marinzin attended, and the 2 major sponsors, e.g. Capital Advisors and FOSS Agro, had representatives, with both players and the chief arbiter rounding out the principals. Broadcast. The video feed on the official website was only available after paying a fee. Live commentary was provided by Agon and Chess24. Prior to the match, Agon tried to deny other websites to show moves of the match. Agon went to court over this but lost their case. Schedule and results. Games. Game 1, Carlsen Karjakin, 1/2 to 1/2. Carlsen opened with 1, d4, and then chose to play the Trompowsky attack, an uncommon opening at the elite level, though one which Carlsen has employed before. Carlsen's opening choice was recalled multiple times in interviews and the post-game press conference, in part due to its uncommon reputation, but also because its name resonated with Donald Trump and the recent United States presidential election 3 days prior. 1. d4 nf6 2. bg5 d5 3. e3 c5 4. bx f6 gx f6 5. dx c5 nc6 6. bb5 e6 7. c4 dx c4 8. nd2 bx c5 9. ngf3 00 10. 00 na 5 11. Our c1 b7 12. qc2 bd7 13. bx d7 qx d7 14. qc3 qd5 15. nxc4 nxc4 16. qxc4 qxc4 17. rxc4 rfc8 18. rfc1 rxc4 19. rxc4. Diagram. Road 820. G3 Road 721. kf1 f5 22. ke2 bf6 23. b3 kf8 24. h3 h6 25. na1 ke7 26. ND3KD827, F4H528, A4 Road 529, NC5B630, now 6B731, NB8A532, NC6 plus KE833, NA5BC534, RC3KE735, Road 3 RXD336, KXD3F637, NC6 plus KD638, ND4KD539, NB5KC640, ND4 plus KD641, NB5 plus KD742, ND4KD6, question mark, question mark, question mark. Game 2, Karjak and Carlsen, 1/2 to 1/2. In Game 2, Karjakin opened with 1e4, which he had played in 9 of 12 prior encounters with Carlsen. Carlsen responded with a Hoy Lopez setup, though choosing a classical line rather than the Berlin defense. Karjakin then avoided the principal variation with 6d3. Karjakin exchanged central pawns on move 18. See diagram. And Carlsen said afterwards that black was too solid in the center for white to regroup his NC3 to g3. After the game, Carlsen said that, in a long match not every game is going to involve fireworks. The game had higher attendance than the opener, with one reason being that many schools used their free tickets on the weekend. 1. E4 E5 2. NF3 NC6 3. BB5 A64, BA4 NF6 5, OOB7 6, D3 B5 7, BB3 D6 8, A3 009, NC3 NA 5 10, BA2 B6 11, D4 BX A2 12, RX A2 Re8 13, RA1 NC4 14, Re1 RC 8 15, H3 H6 16, B3 NB6 17, BB2 BF8, diagram, 18, DXE5 DXE5 19, A4 C6 20, QXD8 RCXD8 21, AXB5 AXB5 22, NA2 BB4 23, BC3 BXE3 24, NXC3 NBD7 25, RA6 RC8 26, B4 RE6 27, RB1 C5 28, RXE6 FXC6 29, NXB5 CXB4 30, RXB4 RXC2 31, ND6 RC1 plus 32, KH2 RC2 33, kilogram 1. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Game 3, Carlsen Karjakin, 1/2 to 1/2. This game saw the Berlin defense, which is quite often seen in the World Championship. Carlsen avoided the Berlin endgame by playing 5-3-1. A main line was followed until Carlsen retreated his rook only to e2 on move 10, upon which Karjakin thought for nearly half an hour. Carlsen followed it up with 11-3-1, apparently losing a tempo but having provoked the move 10-b6. At the press conference afterwards he joked that 10-re2 was a finger feller, which he corrected on the next move. In fact, the idea had been tried the previous year by Grandmaster Rustam Kasimdzhanov. The game was hailed as a miracle escape for Karjakin and a showcase of his defensive skills. 1. E4 E5 2, NF3 NC6 3, BB5 NF6 4, OONXE4 5, Re1 ND6 6, NXE5 B7 7, BF1 NXE5 8, RXE5 009, D4 BF6 10, Re2 B6 11, Re1 Re8 12, BF4 RXE1 13, QXE1 QE7 14, NC3 BB7 15, QXE7 BXE7 16, A4 A6 17, G3 G5 18, BXD6 BXD6 19, BG2 BXG2 20, KXG2 F5 21, ND5 KF7 22, NA3 KF6 23, NC4 BF8 24, RE1 Road 8 25, F4 GXF4 26, GXF4 B5 27, AXB5 AXB5 28, NA3 C6 29, KF3 RA 830, RG1 RA 231, B3 C5 32, RG8 KF7 33, RG2 CXD4 34, NXF5D 335, CXD3 RA 136, ND4B 437, RG5 RB 138, RF5 plus KE 839, RB5 RF1 plus 40, KAE4 RE1 plus 41, KF5 Road 142, RE5 plus KF7 43, Road 5 RXD 344, RXD7 plus KE 845, Road 5 RH 346, RE5 plus KF7 47, RE2BG 748, NC6 RH 5 plus 49, kilogram 4 RC 550, ND8 plus kilogram 651, NA6 H5 plus 52, KF3 RC 3 plus 53, KAE4 BF 654, RE3 H4 55, H3 RC 156, NF8 plus KF 757, ND7 KE 658, NB6 Road 159, F5 plus KF 760, NC4 Road 4 plus 61, KF3 BG 562, RE4 Road 3 plus 63, kilogram 4 RG 3 plus 64, KH5 B7 65, NA5 plus KF 6 66, ING4 plus KF 7 67, RE6 RX H3 68, NA5 plus kilogram 7 69, RXE7 plus KF 6, diagram 70, NC6 KXF5 71, NA5 RH 172, RB7 RA 173, RB5 plus KF4 74, RXB4 plus kilogram 375, RG4 plus KF 276, NC4 H3 77, RH4 kilograms 378, RG4 plus KF2, question mark, question mark, question mark. Game 4, Karjak and Carlsen, 1/2 to 1/2. Position after 45 ND1. Carlsen played 45, F4, which allowed Karjakin to blockade the position and draw. Both players repeated the classical Hoy Lopez opening from Game 2, but this time White went with the main line 6, Re1, after White avoided the martial attack with 8, H3, the pace slowed at move 11, with Carlsen thinking for 4 minutes before Karjakin took 12 minutes on his 12th. The game developed into a sharp middle game when Karjakin played 18, BXH6, but Carlsen navigated the complications better, gaining a small advantage. Karjakin eventually decided to trade queens and enter an inferior endgame. Carlsen was pressing along the way, but Karjakin defended stubbornly, and Carlsen's 45, F4, made the position easier to defend. The game was drawn after 94 moves. Chessbase opined that, after 4 games, Karjakin still has to find a way to put Carlsen under pressure while Carlsen has to do the same to win his good positions. 1. E4 E5 2. NF3 NC6 3. BB5 A6 4. Fa4 NF6 5. OOB7 6. Re1 B5 7. BB3 008. H3 BB7 9. D3 D6 10. A3 Q D7 11. NBD2RFE812, C3BF813, NF1H614, N3H2D515, QF3NA516, BA2DXE417, DXE4NC4. First diagram, 18, BXH6QC619, BXC4BXE420, B3NXE421, INC3ND622, RAD1RAB823, BC1F624, QXC6BXC625, INC4RB526, F3F527, NF2B728, F4BH429, FXE5BXG330, EXD6RXE1 plus 31, RXE1CXD632, Road 1 KF733, Road 4 RE534, KF1 Road 535, RXD5BXD536, BG5 kg 637, H4KH538, NH3BF739, B7BXH440, BXD6BD841, KAE2G542, NF2 kg 643, G4BB644, B5A545, ND1. Second diagram, F446, BD4BC747, NF2B648, KF3BD5 plus 49, KE2BG250, KD2KF751, KC2BD552, KD2BD853, KC2KE654, KD2KD755, KC2KC656, KD2 kilobits 557, KC1 Ka458, KC2BF759, KC1BG660, KD2 kilobits 361, KC1BD 362, NH3 Ka263, BC5B264, NF2BF365, KC2BC666, BD4BD767, BC5BC768, BD4B669, BC5F370, B3BD771, KC1BC872, KC2BD773, KC1BF474, BXF4GXF475, KC2B676, KC1BC877, KC2B678, KC1 kilobit 379, KB1 Ka480, KC2 kilobits 581, KD2 KC682, KE1 KD583, KF1 KE584, kilogram 1 KF685, Na4 plus kilogram 686, KF2 BXG487, ND2 B688, KXF3 KF589, A4 BD5 plus 90, KF2 kilograms 491, NF1 kilogram 592, ND2 KF593, KAE2 kilograms 494, KF2, question mark dash, question mark. Game 5, Carlsen Karjakin, 1/2 to 1/2. In this topsy-turvy game, Karjakin equalized easily out of the opening, Aguago piano, and seized the initiative in a complicated middle game. Carlsen managed to neutralize Karjakin's initiative to enter a major piece endgame with opposite-colored bishops which he can try endlessly to win without risking a loss. Question mark. The exact kind of game which he is renowned for winning. However, he played aimlessly before the first time control. After the careless king moved 41 kg to, blocking his major pieces from the soon-to-be-opened h-file, he suddenly came under pressure. Like Carlsen in Games 3 and 4, Karjakin failed to make the most of these chances, and the game ended in a draw, albeit the first in the match in which Karjakin had serious winning chances. 1. E4 E5 2. NF3 NC6 3. BC4 BC5 4. OO NF6 5. D3 006. A4 D6 7. C3 A6 8. B4 Ba 7 9. Re1 A7 10. NBD2 Ing 6 11. D4 C6 12. H3 EXD4 13. CXD4 and XE4 14. BXF7 plus RXF7 15. NXE4 D5 16. NC5 H6 17. RA3 BF5 18. NA5 NXE5 19. DXE5 QH4 20. RF3 BXE5 21. BXC5 Re8 22. RF4 QE7 23. QD4 Ref8 24. RF3 B4 25. RXF7 QXF7 26. F3 BF5 27. KH2 B6 28. Re2 QG6 29. B3 RF7 30. RF2 QB1 31. RB2 QF5 32. A5 KF8 33. QC3 KE8 34. RB4 G5 35. RB2 KD8 36. RF2 KC8 37. QD4 QG6 38. G4 H5 39. QD2 RG7 40. Kilogram 3 RG8 41. Kilogram 2. Diagram. HXG4 42. HXG4D4 43. QXD4BD5 44. E6 QXE6 45. Kilogram 3 QE7 46. RH2 QF7 47. F4 GXF4 plus 48. QXF4 QE7 49. RH5 RF8 50. RH7 RXF4 51. RXE7 Re4. Question mark. Question mark. Question mark. Game 6, Karjak and Carlsen, 1/2 to 1/2. The sixth game was a relatively short draw. In a mainline Hoy Lopez, Karjakin avoided the martial attack, regarded as a drawish line at Grandmaster level, playing instead 8, H3. Carlsen played the somewhat similar line 8, BB7 9, D3 D5, sacrificing a pawn for positional compensation. Faced with Carlsen's opening preparation, Karjakin chose to return the pawn, and after further simplifications the draw was agreed. 1. E4 E5 2. NF3 NC6 3. BB5 A6 4. Ba4 NF6 5. OO B7 6. Re1 B5 7. BB3 008. H3 BB7 9. D3 D5 10. EXD5 NXD5 11. NXE5 ND4 12. NC3 NB4 13. BF4 NXB3 14. AXB3 C5 15. NA4 F6 16. NF3 F5. Diagram. 17. Neg5 BXG5 18. NXG5 H6 19. Na6 QD5 20. F3 RFE8 21. Re5 QD6 22. C3 RXE6 23. RXE6 QXE6 24. CXB4 CXB4 25. RC1 RC8 26. RXC8 plus QXC8 27. QE1 QD7 28. KH2A5 29. QE3 BD5 30. QB6 BXB3 31. QXA5 QXD3 32. QXB4 B6. Question mark dash. Question mark. Game 7, Karjak and Carlsen, 1/2 to 1/2. Position after 16. Our C8, defending the B7 bishop, protecting it from potential discovered attacks by the F3 bishop. With 16, RB8 17, QE2 QA5 18. BB2 would have given black a slight advantage. After 3 unsuccessful attempts at gaining an advantage with 1, E4, Karjakin played 1, D4 for the first time in the match. Carlsen responded with the Slav defense, which transposed into a tame variation of the Queen's Gambit accepted. Karjakin made a slight inaccuracy with 11, and D2, but Carlsen seemingly underestimated his position with 16, RC8 and failed to capitalize. Several forced exchanges later, the game entered an opposite-color bishop endgame where white was a pawn-up, but could make no progress. 1. D4 D5 2. C4 C6 3. NC3 NF6 4. E3 A6 5. BD 3 DX E4 6. BX C4 E6 7. NF3 C5 8. OOB 5 9. B2 BB 7 10. DX C5 and C6 11. ND2 BX E5 12. NDE4 and XE4 13. NXE4 B7 14. B3 and B4 15. BF3 0016. BA3 RC8. Diagram 17. NF6 BXF6 18. BXB7 BXA1 19. BXB4 BF6 20. BXF8 QXD1 21. RXD1 RXF8 22. BXA6 B4 23. RC1 G6 24. RC2 BRA8 25. BD third 8 26. B2 KF8 27. KF1 RA8 28. BC4 RC8 29. KE2 KE7 30. F4 H6 31. KF3 RC7 32. G4 G5 33. KAE4 RC8. Question mark. Question mark. Question mark. Game 8, Carlsen Karjakin, 0 to 1. Position after 48. ND3. According to Fabiano Caruana, Carlsen had a relatively easy draw by 49 E5, sacrificing a pawn to free his bishop. Instead, after 49 QA5, QC5 50 QA6 Na5, Caruana assessed his position as horribly difficult. And after 51 QE6, H5, Karjakin was winning. Carlsen played the Cole system, an innocuous opening rarely seen at Grandmaster level. As is typical of his playstyle, he only aims to get a playable position and not a theoretical duel. He then played recklessly for a win, openly inviting complications. Analysis suggested that the complicated 19 QG5 would have been good for black. However, Karjakin refused to oblige, playing instead 19 BC6. The position was equal, but Carlsen continued to play for a win. The move 24 BXC4 was criticized by commentators who said that if Carlsen wanted to make this recapture, it should have been done on move 22. Carlsen eventually overpressed with 35 C5, going down 2 pawns for almost no compensation. In time trouble, Karjakin returned the blunder with 37 QD3, allowing Carlsen to win back both pawns. The resulting position was objectively equal but double-edged in practice, with connected outside passed pawns but an exposed king for Karjakin. Once again, Carlsen had forced drawing lines at his disposal, but chose to play for a win. Instead, he aired with 51 QE6, and after 51 H5, 52 H4 A2, he resigned. After 53 QXA2 wing 4 plus 54 KH3 QG1, white has to sacrifice the queen to avoid immediate mate. After the game, Carlsen was visibly uncomfortable and left the press conference before it began, potentially incurring a fine of 5% of his prize money to the organizers Ogon, and a further 5% to FIDE. 1. D4 NF62, NF3D53, E364, BD3C55, B3B76, 00007, BB2B68, DXC5BXC59, NBD2BB710, QE2NBD711, C4DXC412, NXC4QE713, A3A514, ND4RFD815, RFD1RAC816, RAC1NF817, QE1ING618, BF1ING419, NB5. First diagram, BC620, A4BD521, BD4BXE422, RXC4BXD423, RDXD4RXC424, BXC4NF625, QD2RB826, G3NA527, BG2H628, F4NED729, NA7QA330, NC6RF831, H3NC532, KAH2NXA433, Road 8G634, QD4 kg 735, C5RXD836, NXD8NXC537, QD6 QD338, NXE6 plus FXE639, QE7 plus kg 840, QXF6A441, E4QD742, QXG6 plus QG743, QE8 plus QF844, QC6 QD845, F5A346, FXE6 kg 747, E7QXE748, QXB6ND3. Second diagram, 49, QA5QC550, QA6NA551, QE6H552, H4A20. 1. Game 9, Karjak and Carlsen, 1/2 to 1/2. Position after 38, Na7. Karjakin played 39 BXF7+, but 39 QB3NF540, BXF7 plus kg 741. RH3QXF7 is a complicated variation which may have offered him more winning chances. Carlsen opened with the Archangelish variation of the Spanish game, a variation he had played only 4 times in his career. The game followed a line which Karjakin had used to beat Adams until move 18, at which point Carlsen deviated by playing 18. C5. Carlsen remained within his opening preparation until at least move 22, taking less than a minute to play the novelty 21. CXB3. The game developed into a pun-up middle game for White that offered White a long-term advantage, but Karjakin declined to sit on his 1-point lead and instead went for the win. The game became very tense, with Carlsen consuming a lot of time. He played 38, Na7 with less than 2 minutes on his clock, against Karjakin's 25 minutes. Karjakin invested most of the 25 minutes before making the bishop sacrifice 39. BXF7+. When 39, QB3 was also very strong in possibly even winning. In spite of his time situation, Carlsen defended accurately. In the resulting endgame, White was still a pawn up, but the extra pawn was doubled. Karjakin kept playing, but could make no progress, and the game was drawn after 74 moves. 1. E4E52, NF3NC63, BB5A64, BA4NF65, OOB56, BB3BC57, A4RB88, C3D69, D4BB610, AXB5 AXB511, Na30O12, NXB5BG413, BC2EXD414, NBXD4NXD415, CXD4BXF316, GXF3NH517, KH1QF618, B3C519, E5QE620, EXD6C421, B3CXB322, BXB3QXD623, RA6RFD824, RG1QD725, RG4NF626, RH4QB527, RA1G628, RB1QD729, QD3ND530, RG1BC731, BG5RE832, QC4RB533, QC2RA834, BC4RBA535, BD2RA436, QD3RA137, RXA1 plus 38, kilogram 2 Na7, diagram, 39, BXF7 plus KXF7, 40, QC4 plus kilogram 741, D5NF542, BC3 plus KF843, BXA1NXH4 plus 44, QXH4 QXD545, QF6 plus QF746, QD4KE847, QE4 plus QE748, QD5BD849, KF1 QF750, QE4 plus QE751, B5 QE652, kilogram 2 B753, QA8 plus KF754, QH8H555, QG7 plus KE856, BF4 QF757, QH8 plus QF858, QD4 QF559, QC4 KD760, BD2 QE661, QA4 plus QC662, QA7 plus QC763, QA2 QD664, B3 QE665, QA7 plus KE866, BC5 BD867, H3 QD568, B3 B769, QB8 plus KF770, QAH8 QE671, BF4 QF672, QB8 QE673, QB7 kilograms 874, QB5 BF6, question mark, question mark, question mark. Game 10, Carlsen Karjakin, 1-0. Position after 20, ND2, 20, NXF2 plus forces white to either accept a draw or a worse endgame. Either 21, kilogram 2 NH4 plus 22, kilogram 1 NH3 plus 23, KH1 NF2 plus with a repetition, or 21, kilogram 1 NH3 plus 22, kilogram 2 NGF4 plus 23, GXF4 NXF4 plus 24, RXF4 EXF4 with possibly a slight advantage for black. Position after 56, RB1, 56, RHH7, left the H7 rook temporarily unable to defend the E6 pawn, enabling the breakthrough 57, B5. Game 10 was a Hoy Lopez anti-Berlin. In keeping with his game plan, Karjakin tried to remain as solid as possible. A critical moment arose after Carlsen's 20, ND2, which allowed black to force a draw or a favorable endgame. See diagram. Karjakin said in the press conference that he thought Carlsen could meet 20, NXF2 plus with 21 kilograms 1. and Miss 21. NH3 plus 22 kilograms 2 and GF4 plus 23 GXF4 NXF4 plus 24 RXF4 QXF4, and Black can never lose. Carlsen. Reminiscent of Games 3 and 4. The game evolved into one in which Carlsen could constantly press, while Karjakin defended. Carlsen steadily improved the position of his pieces, but had no breakthrough until Karjakin played the inaccurate 56 RHH7, which allowed Carlsen to play the break 57 B5. At a favorable time, Karjakin tried to actively seek counterplay, but Carlsen fended him off and simplified into a winning endgame, earning Karjakin's resignation. 1. E4 E5 NF3 NC6 BB5 NF6 4, D3 BC5 C3006, BG5 H6 7, BH4 B7 8, OOD6 9, NBD2 NH5 10, BXE7 QXE7 11, NC4 NF4 12, NA3 QF6 13, G3 NH3 plus 14, KH1 NA7 15, BC4 C6 16, BB3 ING 6 17, QE2 A5 18, A4 B6 19, BXE6 FXE6 20, ND2. First diagram. D5 21, QH5 ING 5 22, H4 NF3 23, NXF3 QXF3 plus 24, QXF3 RXF3 25, kilogram 2 RF7 26, RFE1 H5 27, NF1 KF8 28, ND2 KE7 29, RE2 KD6 30, NF3 Ref 8 31, ING5 RE7 32, RE1 RFE 8 33, NF3 NH8 34, D4 EXD4 35, NXD4 G6 36, RE3 NF7 37, E5 plus KD7 38, RF3 NH6 39, RF6 RG7 40, B4 AXB4 41, CXB4 ING 8 42, RF3 NH6 43, A5 NF5 44, NB3 KC7 45, NC5 kilobits 846, RB1 Ka7 47, Road 3 RC7 48, RA3 ND4 49, Road 1 NF5 50, KH3 NH6 51, F3 RF7 52, Road 4 NF5 53, Road 2 RH7 54, RB3 RE7 55, RDD3 RH8 56, RB1, second diagram, RHH7 57, B5 CXB5 58, RXB5 D4 59, RB6 RC7 60, NXE6 RC3 61, NF4 RHC7 62, ND5 RXD3 63, NXE7 kilobits 864, NB5 KC8 65, RXG6 RXF3 66, kilogram 2 RB3 67, ND6 plus NXD6 68, RXD6 RE3 69, E6 KC7 70, RXD4 RXE6 71, Road 5 RH6 72, KF3 kilobits 873, KF4 Ka7 74, kilogram 5 RH8 75, KF6 1 0. Game 11, Karjakin Carlsen, 1/2 to 1/2. In his last game with the white pieces at standard time controls, Karjakin opened with 1, E4, and the game developed into the 7th Foy Lopez of the match. Carlsen chose a variation which has given white free pressure. Svidler. 1, E4 E5 2, NF3 NC6 3, BB5A64, BA4NF65, OOB76, D3B57, BB3D68, A3009, NC3B610, ND5ND411, NXD4EXD412, NXF6 plus BXF613, BXE6FXE614, F4C515, QG4QD716, F5RA817, BD2C418, H3C3, diagram, 19, BXC3D520, BG5BXG521, QXG5DXE422, FXE6RXF1 plus 23, RXF1QXE624, CXD4E325, RE1H626, QH5E227, QF3A528, C3QA229, QC6RE630, QC8 plus KH731, C4QD232, QXE6QXE1 plus 33, KH2QF234, QE4 plus, question mark, question mark, question mark. Game 12, Carlsen Karjakin, 1/2 to 1/2. Game 12 ended in a very short draw, the shortest of the match under standard time controls. Carlsen signaled his willingness to accept a quick draw by playing one of the most solid variations against the Berlin defense. Karjakin did not disagree, and after mass exchanges the game was drawn in 30 moves, the earliest allowed by the rules of the match, and after only 35 minutes of play. For comparison, several of the earlier games in the match took over 6 hours to conclude. In the post-game interview, Carlsen seemed keen on enjoying Wednesday's challenge of quicker tie-breaking games. AGON director Ilya Marinzin said during the press conference that fans holding tickets for round 12 would get into the tiebreak for free. 1. E4E52, NF3NC63, BB5NF64, OONXE45, RE1ND66, NXE5B77, BF1NXE58, RXE5009, D4BF610, RE1RE811, BF4RXE112, QXE1A813, C3D514, BD3G615, Na3C616, NC2ING717, QD2BF518, BXF5NXF519, Na3NXE320, QXE3QE721, QXE7BXE722, RE1BF823, KF1F624, G4KF725, H3RE826, RXE8KXE827, KAE2KD728, KD3KE629, A4A630, F3B7, diagram, question mark, question mark, question mark. Tie-break games. Game 13, Karjakin Carlsen, 1/2 to 1/2. 1. E4E52, NF3NC63, BB5A64, BA4NF65, OOB76, D3B57, BB3D68, A3009, NC3NB810, Na2C511, ING3NC612, C3RB813, H3A514, A4B415, RE1B616, BC4H617, B3QC818, QE2ROAD819, BXE6FXE620, D4BXE321, BXC3CXD422, CXD4EXD423, NXD4 NXD424, BXD4RB425, REC1QD726, BC3RXA427, BXA5RXA128, RXA1RA29, BC3RXA1 plus 30, BXA1QC631, KAH2KF732, BB2QC533, F4BD834, E5DXE535, BXE5BB636, QD1QD537, QXD5NXD5, question mark, question mark, question mark. Game 14, Carlsen Karjakin, 1/2 to 1/2. Position after 78. H5, 79 GX H5 F5 80BX F5 RXE7 plus 81 KXE7, which forces a draw. There is no way to dislodge the Black King from the corner. See Wrong Rook Pawn. This game started with the Italian opening instead of the more common Hoy Lopez. After a series of exchanges it moves 35-37 Karjakin found himself with a rook and pawn against Carlsen's two bishops, while materially equal in value. The open nature of the position gave the bishops great scope, and Carlsen had all the winning chances. By move 40, Karjakin had just 59 seconds remaining, whereas Carlsen still had 4 minutes. In spite of his time situation, Karjakin managed to sacrifice his rook for one of the bishops, setting up a wrong rook pawn position where his king could not be dislodged from h8 per hour 7 programs 8. Judit POLG are called Karjakin's defensive skills, finding the required moves with only seconds on the clock. Unbelievable. 1. E4 E5 2. NF3 NC6 3. BC4 BC5 4. OO NF6 5. D3 006. A4 A6 7. C3 D6 8. Re1 Ba 7 9. H3 Na 7 10. D4 Ing 6 11. NBD2 C6 12. BF1 A5 13. DXE5 DXE5 14. QC2 B6 15. NC4 QC7 16. B4 AXB4 17. CXB4 B5 18. Na3 BXA4 19. RXA4 BXE3 20. BXE3 RXA4 21. QXA4 NXE4 22. RC1 BD5 23. B5 CXB5 24. QXE4 QXE1 25. QXD5 QC7 26. QXB5 RB8 27. QD5 Road 8 28. QB3 RB8 29. QA2H6 30. QD5 QE7 31. QE4 QF6 32. G3RC8 33. BD3 QC6 34. QF5 Re8 35. B4 QE6 36. QH5 Na7 37. QXE5 QXE5 38. NXE5 Ing 6 39. BXG6 RXE5 40. BD3 F6 41. Kilogram 2 KH8 42. KF third 543. BG6 Ra 544. KAE4 RB5 45. H4 Re5 plus 46. KD4 Ra 5 47. KC4 Re5 48. BD4 Ra 5 49. BC5 kilograms 850. KD5 RB5 51. KD6 Ra 5 52. B3 Re5 53. BF4 Ra 5 54. BD3 Ra 7 55. KAE6 RB 7 56. KF5 Road 7 57. BC2 RB 7 58. Kilogram 6 RB 259. BF5 RXF 260. B6 plus KH861, BD6 Re262, BG4 Re863, BF5 kilograms 864, BC2 Re365, BB1 KH866, KF7 RB367, B4 Re368, BF5 RC369, G4 RC670, BF8 RC7 plus 71, kilograms 6 kilograms 872, BB4 RB773, BD6 KH874, BF8 kilograms 875, BA3 KH876, B6 RB677, KF7 RB7 plus 78, B7H579, GXH5F580, BXF5RXE7 plus 81, KXE7 kilograms 882, BD3 KH883, KF8G584, HXG6, question mark, question mark, question mark. The final position is a draw by stalemate. Game 15, Karjak and Carlsen, 0-1. Carlsen, black, sacrificed a pawn with 30, e4, which gave him pressure on Karjakin's position. Then on move 38, short of time and in a slightly worse position, Karjakin blundered with 38 RxC7, allowing the winning 38, Ra1, which skewers the white queen and bishop. 1. E4 E5 NF3 NC6 3, BB5 A6 BA4 NF6 5, OOB7 6, D3 B5 7, BB3 D6 8, A3 009, NC3 now 5 10, BA2 B6 11, B4 NC6 12, ND5 ND4 13, ING5 BXD5 14, EXD5 ND7 15, NA4 F5 16, ND2 F4 17, C3 NF5 18, NA4 QE8 19, BB3 QG6 20, F3 BH4 21, A4 NF6 22, QE2 A5 23, AXB5 AXB4 24, BD2 BXC3 25, BXC3 NA3 26, RFC1 RXA1 27, RXA1 QE8 28, BC4 KH8 29, NXF6 BXF6 30, RA3 E4 31, DXE4 BXC3 32, RXC3 QE5 33, RC1 RA8 34, H3 H6 35, KH2 QD4 36, QE1 QB2 37, BF1 RA2 38, RXC7, RA1 01. Game 16, Carlsen Karjakin 1-0. Karjakin, as black, was forced to take risks, because he had to win this game to stay in the match. He opened the match with a Sicilian defense, the only appearance of this opening in the match. Carlsen finished the game with the queen's sacrifice 50 QH6+, which leads to mate on the following move. 1. E4 C5 2, NF3 D6 3, D4 CX D4 4, NX D4 NF6 5, F3 E5 6, NB3 B7 7, C4 A5 8, B3 A4 9, NC1 00 10, NC3 QA5 11, QD2 now 6 12, B2 NC 5 13, OOB D7 14, RB1 RFC 8 15, B4 AX B3 16, AX B3 QD 8 17, ND3 NA 6 18, NB4 BC6 19, RFD1 H5 20, BF1 H4 21, QF second 7 22, G3 RA3 23, BH3 RCA 8 24, NC2R3A625, NB4RA526, NC2B627, Road 2QC728, RBD1BF829, GXH4NF430, BXF4EXF431, BXD7QXD732, NB4RA333, NXC6QXC634, NB5RXB335, ND4QXC436, NXB3QXB337, QE2B738, Kilogram 2QE639, H5RA340, Road 3RA241, R3D2RA342, Road 3RA743, Road 5RC744, QD2QF645, RF5QH446, RC1RA747, QXF4RA2 plus 48, KAH1QF249, RC8 plus KAH750, QAH6 plus 1-0. Aftermath. Annotating for ChessBase, David Navarra wrote that Carlsen deserved the title, as he has been the #1 player in the world for many years, but also that Karjakin deserved credit for successfully showing that it was possible to compete on even terms with Carlsen. The manner in which the match ended? The World Classical Chess Champion title being decided in a rapid playoff earned some criticism from Yasser Seirawan and former world champion Anatoly Karpov as inappropriate because of the even score in the classical portion of the match. Carlsen lost 13 rating points in the December 2016 FIDE ratings list, while Karjakin gained 13 points. Carlsen remained the top player in the world, 17 points ahead of Fabiano Caruana, while Karjakin rose to 6th. Carlsen and Karjakin next met across the chessboard at the 2017 Tata Steel Tournament. The game was drawn.